What is up, everyone? Alex over at cardpenguin.com, here to show you how I put a couple of these into one of these. That's right, today we are going to go over how I pack my sealed Pokemon card orders from my website. Today's order is really cool. Actually, it's from one of our subscribers. Shout out to Mama YY. Been a big supporter of the channel and the website for a long time now, so thank you so much for your continued support. Things you're going to need if you don't know. Of course, you're going to need a box that is big enough to hold the product and have a little bit of wiggle room. Generally speaking, you want to have a little bit of breathing space around it. Not too much, but we'll get into that as we get to the next part of the video. You're going to want something to pack that space. So packing paper, bubble wrap, rolled up newspaper, if anybody nowadays still has newspaper laying around, rolled up balls of paper, whatever works for you in your budget, that's totally fine. Again, we'll talk about this in some more detail here in a minute. Packing tape, good packing tape, not the huge roll you can get for $1. That stuff is going to rip right off as it gets handled throughout the whole system. Something that I don't personally like to risk, I would definitely spring for good packing tape. Of course, if you don't have any when you go down to ship it, a lot of times the store, like the UPS store, FedEx store, they'll actually let you use some tape, and usually it's free. Generally, they're not going to charge you for something like that. Then, of course, a way to print off your labels. So I have a thermal label printer with actual stick-on labels that come off and bam, nice and easy. They're not super expensive, but if you don't want to go that route, you can also just print it off on normal paper from your printer and either cut it out or just slap it on, tape over it, and you should be good to go. You'll want some other, general office supplies, scissors, pens, Sharpies, things like that. And then, of course, again, your printer to print off any packing labels if you're sending it out to a customer or want to include anything inside. I think that's probably everything. So we're going to go ahead and pack up this order for our customer and put it with the others so that it's ready to go out in the morning with the next batch. So let's go ahead and jump on over to that. All right, here we are over at the packing station. We have the product, we have the box. Let's go ahead and just jump into it. This is an easy order. You can apply this to any size order. The only thing that's really going to change is the size of the box and how much packing material goes inside of it to keep it all safe. But I like this box in particular. I will actually show you the size of it. This fits 2 booster bundles pretty perfectly with a little bit of extra room, which you usually want around the edges just to have that little bit of extra room for cushioning. The size of this box, for reference, if anyone is curious, I'll show you right here. You got a 7 by 6, and then you've got to take depth into consideration. Looks like 2.5 there. You can get boxes from multiple places. Amazon's a good start. They've got Amazon Basics and a few other regular suppliers. And if you're shipping out a lot of orders, you can actually save some money by subscribing to their service. You can go to other places like Uline as well. They didn't really work for me with the amount of volume of shipping supplies you need to buy from them to make it worthwhile and get the discounts. For me, it just didn't quite work out. So for a little bit of extra protection first is, and I apologize if the noise coming through from the paper is funky, but you can actually just crumple it up a little bit, get it kind of fluffy, get some air in between it, and I like to put that down in the bottom just as a little bit of extra layer of protection. We really want to just stop them from jiggling around too much. So put that in the bottom, put these bad boys inside like so. Gonna butt them up right next to each other. You want to make sure that you're not poking up over the top of the edges of the box here. The higher it goes, the more risk you're going to have of when you close the box, it's going to push down on the contents. Now the boxes do have a little bit of give to them, but you don't want to put a lot of pressure on it because, that's going to bend the box, and some people are keeping their items sealed or wanting them to be in good condition when they arrive. So we still want to try to avoid that. We'll go ahead and put some more packing paper in there as well, making sure you want to get all the edges here, at least something in those gaps to prevent these from wiggling around too much. So I like to just take little pieces of the packing paper, rolling up an edge of it, get the air folds in there, tuck it underneath. Personally, I like to bring it back over the top and tuck it down on the other side so it stays in there nice and tight and also allows room for both sides to have cushion. And then I'll do the same thing going the other way. All right, so now we got it all packaged up in there. That thing's going nowhere. Also have our packing slip that we want to include inside. Of course, I'm covering up any private information here, but we have listed our policy on here as well as whatever they may have ordered. In this case, it was just the two booster bundles. So I'm gonna go ahead and fold this up and put it in there nice and neat. All right, so now we've got everything in the box that we need to be in there. There we go. Nice and pretty, packed tight. Nothing is going anywhere in that. That will arrive perfectly. We are definitely going to want to get some tape on this to help keep it secure. Again, you really don't want this stuff just being super cheapo, or it's just gonna come off and cause problems that you just don't want to deal with. So yeah, let's go ahead and tape this up. And there, that is nice and secure right there. That is not going to open at all. Now all we have left to do is to put the shipping label on top, and then it will be ready to go. What I like to do next with the package is go ahead and get a weight. So you actually use a food scale or any kind of little scale I like to just fit on my desk. I'll set it right there, see how much it weighs. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but we're at 14.1 ounces. Usually I'll round up just to play it safe. I will call that 15 ounces, so we're just under a pound. I use Pirate Ship to send out my shipments. You can also use Shippo, and I'm sure a bunch of other things. They give discounts on shipments, which helps a lot when you are shipping out a lot of product. So we've got our weight, 15 ounces. We have our measurements already. So I'm going to plug all of that into Pirate Ship and get our shipping label and go ahead and put it on the package. I'm going to go ahead and do the shipping label off camera just so we don't have to worry about any privacy breaches or anything like that. But this package is good to go, and it's ready to go out on the next batch tomorrow morning with the others. Now let's go ahead and jump back over to the face cam and wrap this thing up. All right, we are back, and now with a perfectly packed up little package for our customer. I can do a more in-depth supplies guide video if you guys want to see sort of the list of things that goes into shipping and storing items. That's gonna about do it for today, guys. If you want to see another video like this for sending out singles, let me know. I would be happy to do that. Few different steps with that one, and we can look at TCG Player, which is where I sell most of my singles, and look at the process behind that too. So if you're someone who is thinking about getting into selling on TCG Player or want to ship single cards, let me know. Happy to do a video on that. I'll probably do it anyway at some point, but definitely interested to see what your interest is in that. Otherwise, that's all I got for you guys today. I do appreciate you tuning in. Please remember to hit that subscribe button, like the video, helps us out a lot, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later.